the truth. When she smiles at you, she'll say that angels don't lie.
It's Angels Don't Lie Tuesday, and I'm so excited to be here in Turks and Caicos to bring the show to you tonight, January 14th. So get yourself comfortable, and those that are listening via the podcast, grab your journal. Actually, everybody grab your journal, because we're going to do a little bit of work. I've got a little bit of homework for you guys, which I'm pretty excited to share with you, because it entails a recent training that I went to, and I wanted to share it with you guys because it was really transformational. I'm all tied up over here, but really transformational, and offered a big opening for me. And I think that's important to know, that we are always growing and we are always evolving. So stay tuned. This is going to be a great show. Here we go. Again, here I am in Turks and Caicos. I'm so happy because this is my place to go every year with my husband. It's where we get to just be with each other. It's our still place, which is really important. I want my hair to get in the mic. It's our still place. It's our place where we hold hands and we show up for each other and we are just still. I journal a lot. I pray a lot. I get back into that alignment of my goals and the things that are important for me and my growth, which is part of what we're going to talk about on tonight's show. I also am going to share a really beautiful reading that I had this past week with a woman whose departed grandfather came through, along with her angels and her guides to support her personal growth. So all of these things that we're going to talk about, the training that I went to, and I'm going to share the exercise, the girl's reading with her grandfather and his message, and then my own personal kind of breakthrough and what that looked like for me. So I'm super excited. So here we go. I take a nice deep breath in. When I'm excited, I tend to go super fast. And I know you guys know what this is like. When we're energetic and we're aligned and we're feeling really great, we want to share it. We want to get it out, or we want to hug somebody, or we want them to experience what we're experiencing, right? Because that's the beauty of sharing our light with each other. So I've been doing this training, and it's an ongoing training, which is really lovely. And it's based on A Course in Miracles. And some of you may know that text, and some of you may not, so you can research it. I am not an expert in A Course in Miracles, but I dabble. And I say I dabble because I've gone to it, I've studied it for a long time, and I go back and forth to it. So I'm not an expert, but I love the teachings in the Course in Miracles. But I also love the teachings of my Christian upbringing, of my Catholicism. And so, I mold these things together in a way that makes sense for my soul, for the work that I do. So this particular training was based off of A Course in Miracles, and her training is an immersive, right? So she's helping you to break through a barrier, which is what we're looking to do, maybe in a different way. Maybe the barriers are grief. Maybe it is a barrier of wanting to feel better. Maybe we're suffering and we're in pain. The barrier really could be anything. It could be a health thing. It could be a wealth thing. It could be a friendship or relationship thing. It could be after a divorce, after the loss of a spouse, after a miscarriage. So it really is a matter of where you are and where your pain is. When we try to get to the other side of that pain is when we are starting to do our you work. We're really plugging in. So this particular exercise that she had us do was really helping me to break through, helping the group to break through some hidden areas where old beliefs and old structures will keep us from moving forward, and maybe to realize another level of things that we might need to remove. So I know the word shame is a big word, and a lot of people don't like to say they have shame. They're like, nope, I don't shame myself. But I do, and I always have. One of the things that I've done my whole life is I put other people ahead of me, before me. I've been insecure. And so this just had to do with some of the things that I learned growing up, some of the beliefs I took on, and then the conditioning around me from people that I knew. Not blaming anybody, not pointing any fingers. And the reason why this happens is to teach us, to help us to develop new patterns or things that we don't want to see in our own life. So, for instance, maybe your parent was abusive to you and you wanted to be a different type of parent, and so you showed up differently for your children, or you are showing up differently. Or maybe your family suffered a divorce, and so you knew that you didn't ever want to have that in your life, and so you work really hard to keep your relationship healthy with your spouse. So you see, we learn from our pain, right? Maybe somebody in your household was ill, or you witness the destruction of the self, where they self-sabotaged all the time, and so you knew that you needed to self-care and you needed to take really good care of yourself. So maybe you became a runner, or you really paid attention to your diet. So it's just a matter of where our focus is, right? But around that, there's also some conditioning that we tend to take on. Some, let's just say, controlled behavior. Some people take it a little far and it ends up being like OCD. They want to know how their life is going to go, so they plan things. They make lists. Is this you? Are you a list maker? Are you a pre-planner? Do you want to plan all the details of your life so you know where you're going to be, so you feel safe? Or you control who you're around so that you know that you feel comfortable, so that your emotions are in check? So these are big questions, right? Big questions. We can take it lightly, for sure. But our departed loved ones, whenever they come through in a reading, they're always offering this enlightenment, this new look at how life could be if we were out of our own way. And when I say that, what I mean is our fear way. Because we have a choice to come from that place of fear or that place of love. So it's just our decision. It's just our ability to make that choice. So two things. One reading, which really didn't happen yet, is just somebody that's in our community. My Angels Don't Lie community. And this beautiful woman who's been showing up for years. She's in the Facebook group, the Angels Don't Lie Facebook group, which is a beautiful, I like to call this our family room. This family room where we hang out and we offer each other support in times of need, prayer when we don't know what else to do. It's a place to turn to. It's also the place I can deliver Spirit's guidance in a contained way, where it's just for that group. It's just for the people that are inside there. So sometimes it's angel cards, sometimes it's just in a text message, sometimes it's in a pretty graphic. It just depends on where I'm being moved and what I'm being moved to share. So in this family room setting, I like to share things that are really important and allow people to be very vulnerable in their pain, because it's when we're vulnerable is when we get to the healing. It's when we're vulnerable that we can accept the messages that are coming through, the validation for our pain, the validation for our grief, the validation for our loss. So this woman, I'm actually friends with her outside of the group as well. She follows my business page and my personal page. And I like to do it this way. I know business people say it's not great, don't do business on the outside of your business page, but I'm a real person and I want to make sure that I can show up for them. If I'm not on my news feed, then I don't always know what's going on with some of my people. And I take this work to be heart-centered, and so heart-centered means I have to be there, I have to show up. So her post the other day was so heart-wrenching. It was so powerful and it moved me so much in a way that I didn't know what to do at first. So I turned and I prayed. And what I heard was just speak to her, just send her a message. And so I did. So her post went on to say that she had some terrible news to announce, that she had already lost her daughter to an overdose. And this I knew. This wasn't in the storyline, but she was already raising her granddaughter, and that her son had come back to her home and they were working, and she knew that he had been sad, and since his sister had died, and she thought he was doing better, and things were on the uphill way, and he took his life. And my heart just sank in my stomach. I can't imagine that type of grief. I just can't imagine myself there. And so I just said to God, how would you use me? How will you use me to help her? I don't know this grief. And so when I don't know something, I feel like I'm inferior. I feel insecure, right? This is my old story. But I don't want to do that. I want to show up the right way. And maybe you can relate to this, because we don't know something doesn't mean that we're not valuable in that moment. Because we don't know what they're going through, just because I'm not her doesn't mean I can't help her. So I went and did a private message to her, and I let her know that I was right there for her. I let her know that her fear of her son not being in heaven was nothing for her to worry about, that he was in heaven. And when the time is right, then we can talk and we can have that discussion, and she can listen and he can come through. So that way she feels his soul and his presence, which is the most important thing, right? Is that we feel the presence of our loved ones. We feel the presence of the divine in every given day, in any given moment. That's our miracle moment, right? So where I was insecure, feeling, how could I serve her? How could I, me, little me, I haven't experienced that type of pain. How could I help her? And Spirit said, no, you can. You can. It's just the gesture. It's you being there. It's her knowing that she can count on you. Bigger than what I can imagine, right? Bigger than what we all can imagine. So I shared that message in our Facebook group. And so many of you who are listening tonight, you're on that group. You know who I'm talking about. And you know that you showed up, and you know that you prayed for her, and we prayed together. And by praying together, we magnify that prayer. By praying together, God hears all of us together, calling for his light to be in this family. And so more that we pray, the more she's going to receive and feel held and loved and supported during the most horrible time that we can all probably imagine. So that was the first. There's really no order to this, though. That was the first thing I wanted to share with you today. And I wanted to share it because, one, I want you to continue praying for our dear fellow angel lover. Our people are important. Our circle is important because humans are important, right? We're important. So you matter. She matters, I matter, we matter, and our pain matters. It does not define us, so, right? So to help her move through her pain so she could be the greatest person, so she can take care of her granddaughter, so she can raise her to be in love and to be in light, to know that her mother's with her, to know that her uncle's with her. That's the important thing. The second reading I had this week was with a beautiful woman, just out of the blue. She found me via the podcast, which I love. I love when people tell me where they find me, because the angels are always working in ways that we can't imagine. If my book fell off the shelf, or somebody gave it to them or gifted it to them, or they just ran across my name, or they found me, just listening to a podcast. It's amazing. And that is how the light works, so when we're seeking the light finds us, and the light answers us in the way that is meant for our soul. So as we're talking and we're conversing, and this beautiful messages were coming through from her family members, validating her biggest question, which I know a lot of you have, and this is why I'm sharing it, is I feel something inside of me, like I can connect to spirit. I know my cousin can do this, or so-and-so can do this, or however that looks for you. And I don't know if it's real or if I'm just crazy. Am I just crazy that I think I can receive? And I'm, of course, the very first thing before we even started talking that came through was her spiritual work. And so I was like, oh, spiritual work, what do you do? And she's like, I don't do anything spiritual. And so as we started to unpack this conversation and dive in, and Spirit started to, unveil what was there for her, and I'm like, well, you have these gifts. And she's like, well, I've always felt like it. And I'm like, well, they're saying you do. I said, and we reverted back to that very first sentence that I gave her was the spiritual work. This is you. And so this light comes in, right? This light and this truth. And it's like, okay, this divine wisdom. And that's so meaningful. And it changes our perception, right? Of the smallness that we play. We play small. Are you with me on this? Because I know I'm not the only one, because I've heard other teachers talk about playing small. I've heard, people all over the world talk about, when they played small. And when we have thought leaders sharing, like Marianne Williamson, like that's the one thing that we shouldn't do is we play small. We think that we're inadequate, but that's not the truth. The truth is we are given exactly what we need to succeed. And the people that we see doing it, that are lighting us up, that are teaching it, they're guides for us. And they're showing you a truth inside of you, a truth that's real. And though we won't all look the same when we're doing the work, the impact is powerful. Powerful. So, as this reading goes on and goes in depth, it's beautiful, and we're going different avenues, different ways with the reading. Different people are coming through, and our angels are coming through, and it's quite lovely. And she asks about her grandfather, and he comes through, and he's sharing with me an insight. And she's like, I had a dream about him, and it's so crystal clear. And all the while he's smiling, and he's sharing with me, first off, that she has the gift of sight. So we talked about that. And then he tells me the truth is in the message. And so I said to her, I don't know what he means by this, but he says the truth is in the message. And she's like, I know what that means. I think she knows what this means, right? She's like, I had this dream about him where he spoke directly to me. He spoke directly to me, and we had this conversation. And, I said, yes, well, there it is. The truth is in the message. But we dove in a little bit more, because the message is that religion locks us out of having a beautiful light on the work that we can do. And she was really worried that not necessarily all of her family, but that she would maybe be judged, or that she'd be doing something wrong. And especially for him to come through, because he was religious, and she looks up to him. And I said, well, listen, his message to you, that the truth is in the message, is so powerful right now. Can you hear those words? It's not about religion. This is not about you doing something wrong. This is about you being in alignment with truth. So this is my second or third part that I wanted to go into tonight, which is the third part, which is so important, is that if we are doing our work, praying, if you're a healer, if you're showing up and you're doing that work and you're doing it in alignment, if you're leaning in with God, this is why my work is I always say God-based, because it's where I go. It's the most important thing for me. I don't want to go outside of that realm. I want to stay in this divine essence to bring the most powerful words and the most meaningful guidance that is divine sent. It's not on my own accord. It's not on my own accord. Out of the way, ego, and it just comes through, and it's just light, and it's powerful. Really beautiful. And that's what I want. That's what I want to share. And so that's where the work stays for me. So when we set ourselves up to do any work that we're doing, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're a bus driver, or you work at the grocery store or the daycare, or whatever you're doing, and maybe you're working to get somewhere, maybe you have a goal to be an author or a movie star, I don't care what it is, but if you're doing your work in alignment with God, if you're doing your divine truth, then you're good. You're sharing your light for the greater good. You don't even realize it, because if you're showing up in love and you're leaning into it and you're using it to help other people in some way, shape, or form, you're doing it. Performing artists are great for this. We can visually see and hear their words when they deliver or when they perform, because it moves us. It moves something inside of us. We feel something. And that's the cue in. When we make somebody feel something, good, bad, or not, when we make them feel something, that's when we know that we're doing the work. either of love or of fear. So if you're making somebody feel bad perpetually, if you're using your words to harm, then you know you're not doing the work of God. Then you know you're doing the work of ego. So this is where we're going to check in today. And this is the exercise that I want to share with you because it's super impactful. It's super transformational. Okay, so where is my exercise? I saved my page so I can pull it up for you. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to write, and this is very, very similar to what I have in my book, The God Is You, by the way. It's so similar, it's ridiculous. But just spoken differently, to me, it made sense, right? Because now it's not my words, it's somebody else's words delivered. So what we're going to do is we're looking at, who we are right now. Who you are right in this moment. And so we're going to look at this in the fear way. And the fear way is the way that we're speaking to ourselves. So it's an honesty thing. Is you have to be very honest. You have to be very truthful. And how fear speaks to you and tells you who you are is not a nice way. So some of the things that I wrote down, and I'm going to share this just as a tool and an insight so you can see where you can go with this. My fear or my false voice was, I'm always worrying. I didn't realize it, but I'm always been worrying about my health, worrying about my stomach and my gut issues, worrying about the pain in my body, where it's coming from and what's wrong with me, feeling like I'm broken, right? Something needs adjusting. I always feel like something is wrong. So something needs adjusting. I have to be doing something wrong. So I adjust my diet. And maybe you understand, maybe this is like you. So I look at myself and I'm like, all right, what can I take out? What can I change? What can I shift up? What can I learn so I can be better, right? Because I'm never enough. So then I get stuck. I get stuck in, where's my book going? What am I doing? Why don't I have my plan yet? I need my plan. Why isn't my plan right here? I need my book launch plan to be clarified. It's not clarified. And I start going into this worry again, in another form, in another avenue, right? So the worry stays in my health, it stays in my business, right? And the one place it's kind of missing is with the family, because I feel content there. I feel safe there. I don't worry that my kids don't love me. I don't worry that I'm not a good mom. I show up for them and I pour myself into them. I show up in a way that I feel confident. But these other areas in my life, I don't necessarily feel confident. And because I'm stuck in this fear. So here's where we went with this. I wonder if I need more training. I can try to read my own words. Because when you're doing this, I want you just to pour it out, right? It's just, I want you to be really real with yourself. So when you're creating your false list, your fear way of thinking, you just have to write. And you can even use your opposite hand if you need to, so you get out of your head. Just put it on paper. Are you worrying? What is the core? What's happening with you? And what do you think all the time? What's at the top of your head? Once you have that list, now I want you to go and I want you to do your truth or your divine wisdom list. And again, this is so similar to what I have in the God Is You. It's the fear list and the love list. It's like, how are you speaking to yourself? But written in a new way, it just opened me up. It just opened me up and peeled more layers for me. And so I'm hoping that it does that for you too. So your divine list. I am healthy. I'm healthy. It's just a matter of fact. I'm healthy. I'm safe. I'm completely safe. I'm safe in my body. I don't have any disease. I don't have anything wrong. I'm safe and I'm whole. I'm in spirit. I'm in spirit day in and day out. I work myself. I work my light. I don't have to worry. God has me, right? I am loving and gentle, and I show up, and I'm willing to let go of this false perception that worry has to be the constant in my life. And so then I did another list of what ifs, and my what ifs just helped me to see, what if I let go? What if I let go of that false perception? What would I feel like? Because then I went into the feelings, right? Because when we get into the feelings of things, What if we get into the feelings of things, right? The feelings. I feel good. Because listen, when we have grief and when we've lost somebody and we are in pain, and here, this is going to go really well for many of you who have deep grief, women who have a hard time moving on after their husbands have departed, who feel guilty or shame. Husbands too sometimes feel that way, but men are typically more they're more able to move on and to take on another relationship because they don't tend to have the incessive guilt that women have for some reason. So not true in all cases, but if you're holding that guilt and you're so worried that he's going to be or she's going to be angry with you, or you're going to feel like you've done something wrong or you're cheating, nope. The soul wants to live in the light and will live in the light. So when your departed loved one comes through, they're only in the light. They're only in love, and they would never want you to suffer. And so if you're self-suffering by keeping yourself away from having another relationship, from having love in your life, from having that intimate touch with another human soul, it's not because your departed loved one wants you to be there. It's because you're hurting yourself, because you're telling yourself that story. If you've lost a child due to miscarriage or any other way, and you feel guilty for moving on, or you feel like you shouldn't have any more children, or that you're broken and you'll never be whole again, there's the self-suffering, right? A piece of you, it's always with you. Your child is always with you, just in this new form, right? In this new form. And again, I can't imagine this pain in my life. I can only share with you what Spirit has given me. I can only share with you what I see and what I know to be true, is that the soul is infinite, and that piece that you feel is missing in your life, it's a gateway for you to do great work. It's a gateway for you to step out and to help another to do work. I can't say exactly what it is for you, but I know that there's more. And I know that it's not supposed to be around, the suffering isn't supposed to be about the loss for the rest of your life. I know that you're meant to receive love and to give love in different ways. And that your son or daughter is guiding you and helping you to do so. It's guiding you to help you to share your love, and not to be afraid or closed off about it. And maybe it's with a pet, and maybe it's not with another child. I don't know. But each individual is so different, and our stories are so vast. And we all experience pain. It's just different. It's just different. And no one's pain is above anybody else's or below anybody else's. So that's the one thing that I've learned from channeling Spirit, from channeling our departed loved ones and how they show up. One of the first readings I had done when I first started was for a mom who lost a young mom who had lost her daughter to a very random illness. And she was obviously devastated. I mean, I was devastated for her. And I had to keep myself out of her story, which was not easy at the time because I was just beginning my practice. And that's one of the things I teach in my angel healer training, is how not to be in somebody else's story. So to keep myself on the outside so I could be objective and to be the pure deliverer of that message that she needed. And her daughter shared all this information about how her mom was needed to create this foundation to help other parents in need, to help them find the way to heal this illness, cure this illness, but to really, most importantly, support families. And she showed me her on the helm of a ship. And this was very significant because it was a view of her creating this beautiful foundation. And she's the helm of this ship, and the ship sails waters. We know what a ship does. It's the beginning of everything, right? It doesn't stay in a port. It floats, it moves. It goes different places, right? And so that's what the ship is, and she was in charge of it. And so when she got into that light, she would be able to do that. She did. She She has been doing it. She has been showing up. She created this nonprofit. She's helped hundreds, if not thousands of families by now with their families' experience with this one disease, and she's helped raise money and support them. Does this mean that her grief has gone away? No, but it's not controlling her. It's not keeping her from participating and doing the things that are meant for her soul to do, and share, right? So that's my point, is what are we meant to do? How are we meant to show up and share our light? So that's my question for you. Once you do your fear list, once you do your love list, once you're in that divine truth, I want you to understand, what is the one thing that you can do today that you can show up for yourself? So I created this mantra. And mantras are so important for me. They're so important in general because they're a prayer. And when you repeat it over and over until you feel it integrated, it supports you and helps you to move forward. And so I'm going to share the mantra with you. I'm just picking out, because I wrote like several of them, but I want to give you the best one for you today. So I'm asking the angels to show me which one it is here. Here it is. Are you ready? I choose joy over pain. I choose joy over pain. I choose joy over pain. So I want you to work with this mantra this week. I want you to work with it. I want you to breathe it. I want you to hold it in. If you want to tap it, I choose joy over pain. If you want to use your fingers, I think it's called mudra, I choose joy over pain. You just do each finger. I choose joy over pain. I choose joy over pain. Over and over and over and over again. Breathing and taking that full breath in. And a lot of times when we do this, our lungs kind of open up a little brighter, a little bigger. I choose joy over pain. And we can feel this little expansiveness. Sit with it, stay with it, feel it, own it, and love it. All right, my beautifuls, I hope that you've enjoyed this week's podcast as much as I have enjoyed delivering it and sharing it with you. May God bless you and keep you. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to come hang out with me on Facebook, come join the Angels Don't Lie group. Come join our family room and hang out with all of my lovely peeps that are there, and we can show up for each other. And if you're ready for a little bit more, you can join my angel membership, where I hold everybody that's in there in a sacred space. And in this sacred space, I share daily devotionals. I share a mantra for us, and we do some guided meditations along with, it's really beautiful what we do in there, along with these trainings that are in there, these master classes that we call them, that are available to you. So you can go at your own pace, and you can take one training, or you can take all, I think there's 20 in there now. But you can show up and you can start doing that work on a new level and feel completely supported, spiritually supported and aligned as you're doing it. And if you're ready to awaken your healer gifts, the way that you want to share your light with others, check out my Angel Healer program. I have a training coming up in February. It's absolutely out of this world. It's such a breakthrough for me, the way it's combined with angel healing training, energy work, connecting to spirit. It's just such a beautiful experience, and it's an in-person, in-depth experience. And so those who come, they are not the same when they leave, in a good way. All right, that's enough for now. God bless you, and I will see you guys next week. You know what I know, because angels don't lie. Take care now.
Angels don't